want to thank you, Mike, for joining us today here at Maximum Wealth. We're excited about having Mike Buckner back with us again. Thank you for joining us today. And we're going to talk and discuss in as simple a terms as possible annuities. There's a lot of discussion about annuities today. There are different types of annuities. What we're going to try to get into and discuss without going too far into the weeds. But I want to let Mike expand on some of his knowledge. He's worked in the field, advanced underwriting for many, many years, and understands the nuances of these annuities, the different types, and I guess the different aspects of the different types. And so, Mike, with that, if you have anything you would like to say or add, feel free to at this time, because we're opening this thing up.
Sure. Thanks, Doug, for having me. And yeah, annuities have really transformed probably over the last few years or so. Annuities were basically one type about 10, 15 years ago, and now we've got all sorts of types, which makes it pretty confusing for clients to understand, or individuals to understand what is the best fit for them from a financial planning perspective. So we have fixed index, variables, single premium immediate annuities, guaranteed living benefits, withdrawal benefit riders. You can add a long-term care rider. So they've become more complicated over the years.
Yes, sir.
And so that's one of the reasons that they're a great product. But one of the reasons you need to work with somebody to understand what is the best annuity product for you, because oftentimes these things, while they're great products, they come with some benefits and features where you may be in a situation where I purchase a product and then I may be stuck with it for 10, 15 years or so. So best to work with somebody that actually understands the product itself.
Sure. Mike, what do you think of when you hear the word annuity from a consumer standpoint? What's the first thing you think about, or what does annuity mean to you with the knowledge you have as far as how a consumer would think about this as well?
Yep, having been in this industry for 30 years, when we first heard the term annuity, we just thought about you're putting your money into a basically a basket, and it gets locked up for the rest of your life, and you get fixed income, and you have no access to those dollars.
Yes.
All you have is an income, and annuities were often termed back in the day as not something you would want to do.
Right.
I think that has changed over time. And when you take a look at annuities and you think about what it is, think about what most of you have out there, and most of you will be collecting Social Security benefits.
Sure.
That is nothing more than an annuity.
That's right.
An annuity is basically guaranteed income for the rest of your life.
Right.
And if you have a defined benefit plan, you could probably identify with that. And for most of you, if you have Social Security, you can identify with that. Sure. So that is, in simple terms, what an annuity is.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the different types for a little bit. We've got basically there's four types of annuities. You've got the fixed annuities. You've got the fixed index annuities that people are familiar with. You've got a variable annuity contract, and then you have what they call the term is, or the short word is SPIA, but it means a single premium immediate annuity. And we'll go into that one because I think there's some misconceptions about that compared to the other annuities. But briefly, let's talk about the fixed index and the variable, and what your ideas on those things are.
Yep. So the new one out in the field, and it hasn't been that new lately, but it's the fixed indexed annuity. And basically, you're going to hear that a lot from advisors and other sorts of communication. But the fixed indexed annuity is basically one where the money is placed with an insurance company and they follow an index like the S&P, or it could be the Dow, or it could be anything like that. And based upon the performance of those indexes, like the S&P, you're going to get certain crediting. And it is fixed, it's guaranteed. It means that you can, quote, never lose money. I can't really say that, because if you add things like living benefit riders and there's extra fees, you could.
Right.
But basically it's geared towards a specific index like the S&P.
Sure.
Those have become more popular lately just because of the downside protection in those types of annuities.
Right.
And again, they become more complicated, but yet they have been one of the more popular types of annuity investments over the years.
Let me ask this question, because I'm very familiar with the index type fixed annuity. What I have found that is beneficial for clients or for people that are purchasing annuities is to try to keep it as simple as possible in the explanation, to make sure that they understand from a very base level what an annuity is. And then once they get an understanding of what the fixed is, and then what the fixed index is, how that advances to that next level, then you can start talking to them about income riders, long-term care riders, and then they better understand the costs that are involved in adding these riders on. Because you can, but again, let me back up and regress though. They still need to understand the crediting methods, how interest is paid, and that does get a little confusing. But I still feel like that's absolutely necessary for these people to understand as to how they're going to get paid on these things. Does that make sense?
Yes, and you know, in basic terms, a fixed index annuity it's a guarantee. It's backed by an insurance company. They're going to give you so much crediting based upon the index. Like I said, the S&P every year. That's the most simple way to explain it.
Right.
So if the index happens to go up 5%, you'll get 5%. There may be what we call caps on those, where maybe you don't get 5%, et cetera. But you know, that is basically what it is. But the idea behind the whole fixed indexed annuities, it tracks an index.
Right.
And you know, you're guaranteed never to lose your money. And that's the most simplistic way to explain it.
Right.
However, you know, there are, like you had mentioned, Doug, there's things that can be added to these contracts that can make it much more complicated. But it is a very, very you know, popular type of product nowadays. And from what I've seen out there, it is one of the things that you know, it makes sense in some circumstances.
Now let's talk a little bit about the SPIA, or the single premium immediate annuity, because to me, there's when someone says annuity in the world that we live in, there's obviously what you said a moment ago about Social Security being an annuity. It's a public annuity. And people have annuities that pay out from their pension plans, but that type of annuity, you get payments from it, but you never ever get to touch the principal or have access to the principal. You can't go in there and pull all that money out at one time that you have put into Social Security, or that your employer has put into your pension plan. But it's still paying out on an annual basis, and it is an annuity for all intents and purposes. And so to me, there are the products of the single premium immediate annuity that you can purchase. But people, I don't think, have the conception that once they purchase that single premium immediate annuity, they can never touch that principal again. That can never be accessed by that person. But to me, that seems to be the talk, the communication. If you look on, I think there's a website called annuities.org. And on that website, it goes into how the explanation of annuities in general is the explanation of a single premium immediate annuity just like once you give them that money, that you can never get it back. And I
Right.
think there's some wrong information going out there to the consumer about this is not the only type of annuity you can purchase.
Right.
You agree with that, or do you think
Yeah,
that's
I do. I do. I mean, the single premium immediate annuity is very much like what I would call the old style annuity product.
yeah,
Whereby you put your money in there, you're going to get payments over your lifetime or maybe for a specific term,
sure,
but then you can never have access. Now, some of these annuities have what we call commutation features,
okay,
which do allow you to actually get access. But what happens is you pay for that, and
yeah,
you
okay,
may pay for it in a lower payout.
right,
So commutation features in a lot of cases may not make sense, but the old single premium immediate annuity concept or idea is basically I give my money to an insurance company and it pays me lifetime income. I never have
mhm,
access and I lose liquidity.
right,
And that is very different from some of these newer, what I would call, and when I say newer, keep in mind, I've been doing this for 30 years.
right,
When I say newer, I mean the last 10 years or so, we've had, or 15, or I want to say 20 years, we've had different types of annuities out there whereby you can still get the guaranteed income.
right,
You're gonna add an income rider to your actual annuity product,
yeah,
but you're not losing your liquidity.
sure,
And so
sure,
that's very different than the single premium immediate annuity where you put your money in there and I
right.
mean, your liquidity's for all sense and purposes gone.
It-
And so that's what, when we're talking about the fixed indexed annuity, for example, you're not losing your liquidity.
right,
Um, you're you're not going to lose money in a fixed indexed annuity unless you add a rider to it. But
right.
by adding those riders, what we call, you can actually go ahead and receive a guaranteed income for the rest of your life, but never lose access to liquidity.
Sure. Let me ask you this, and this has been my experience as well, because I work with individuals that have worked for major corporations.
Mhm.
And when these people go back to these human resource departments or to
Mhm.
the administrators of these pension plans,
Mhm.
if they have the option of taking a lump sum or putting that money in the 401k or whatever the pension plan into a position with the company, the administrator, whoever's been holding this money during the growth period, they are really talked to pretty heavily about leaving that company, that money in the company, and they just about do it to the point to where the people don't feel like they have a choice. They don't
Right.
realize they have access to that lump sum based on the communication back and forth. And they come to me and are, they said that I can't get to this money. And I'm like, well, in some cases you can't, but in some cases you can. And we
Yeah.
uncover that, yes, they've been given wrong information. They have access to their lump sum, and they can come and then do what they want to with that money when they receive it. But there's some coercion going on out there today from the employer, from the groups of companies that are administering these plans that are really holding on to people's money and not really disclosing to the people that they can get their money. Do
Yeah.
you see that as well?
Yeah, I do. And I see that all over the place because if I'm able to go ahead and put you, and I've administered plans in the past,
Sure.
401ks and defined benefit plans and such.
Right.
So if I'm able to administer the plan and upon your retirement, I tell you that we're going to pay you X every year based upon what we have accumulated for you in retirement.
Yeah.
Guess who gets to hold on to that money?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And so I can utilize that money for investment purposes, et cetera, to keep in the plan, to make the plan more robust or what have you. But I've got access to those funds. If
Mhm.
I give you a lump sum amount,
Sure.
I've just lost that.
That's right. That's right.
And from a plan perspective, or even from if you take it outside of a qualified retirement plan, it is very much pushed out there to purchase an annuity, such as a single premium immediate annuity or what have you, because then I still have access to those dollars.
That's right.
As a company, I can invest those dollars. I'll make money off of your money. And so therefore, I'm going to have a tendency to push that.
Right. That's right.
Versus giving you a lump sum and allowing you to do what you feel is most appropriate with your dollars, or
That's
working with your financial advisor, feeling what is more appropriate to do with your dollars.
Sure. Well, it takes away your freedom when they're holding on to that money. That's what you're at liberty to take that money, to use that money, to invest that money. And then if you want to put it somewhere and draw an income off of it, you can still do the same thing. You can accomplish the same purposes as you leaving that money with the company or with the administrator, and then paying you out over time, without access to your money. You can take control of that money and do that yourself as well. And that's really what my message is to people is stop thinking inside that box and look at what the possibilities are, not just listen to what somebody's telling you from the company that's distributing that money out.
Yeah, you want control.
Yeah.
And at least I would want control over my funds.
Yeah.
And so, you don't want to have somebody else telling you, how much you're going to receive, what you're going to get.
That's right.
Do you have access? What happens if you pass away? Does your spouse have access? Do your kids have access, etc.? So you want to be able to control those dollars. I mean, you've worked for years and years and years to accumulate these funds.
Absolutely.
So, to me, it's more about, it's my money. Let me control my own destiny.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, let me ask you this. In your opinion there's a lot of negative talk about annuities. And I usually have, when I'm working with people and they're moving 401k money, or they're transferring money from accounts into annuities, they've heard or read a lot of negativity about annuities.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Because these things have been around for 200 plus years.
Yep.
They are guaranteed. They're very secure. If anything, they are a retirement security blanket. And why the negativity?
Loss of control. So basically that's what it comes down to. And there were, the old annuities out there. I mean, basically you would give your money, get paid a fixed amount. You would pass away. And then your spouse or your kids or whatever, they would, I mean, it's gone, it's done.
Sure.
So you'd put, $100,000 into an account, for example.
Right.
You die tomorrow, that $100,000 is totally gone. Right. Those are the old annuities, and not the annuities of today. So, I mean, am I saying leave your money in a qualified plan and have them annuitize it? No. What I would tell most individuals to do is get your money into an annuity that works for you.
That's right.
And working with a financial advisor that can help you pick the best annuity for you.
Correct.
And oftentimes the qualified plan, as we just discussed, has an interest to keep your money there.
Yeah.
And if you're with another company, for example, that you have like what we call non-qualified annuities, they very much have an interest of keeping your money as well. So, the best thing for you to do is to get your money, if you're wanting guaranteed income, and I'm not saying annuities are bad, I'm saying you need to find the best annuity product that will work for your situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In discussing annuities, there are positives. Are there negatives?
There can be with annuities. The biggest negative is going out and purchasing an annuity that doesn't accomplish your goal.
Okay.
And so you may go and purchase an annuity, such as a single premium immediate annuity, and realize, oh, shoot, I lost all my liquidity.
Yeah.
You may purchase a variable annuity with the idea that it's guaranteed, but realize that because it's variable, your assets in that annuity can go up and down.
Right.
You may purchase an annuity with a guaranteed withdrawal benefit rider and find out you're paying a fee for something that you really never needed. So it's just more of the complexity of the annuities and working with individuals that understand
Yes.
how these specific annuity contracts work.
Right.
Annuities are not bad. They just need to be positioned in your financial house to do what you need it to do, whether that be for your income, your spouse's income, your kids, your grandkids, whatever.
That's right.
Getting the best product for you.
Very, very, very good advice. Very interesting topic here that we're talking about, because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of information that specifically for one type of an annuity that's different than the information on another type of annuity, but it all gets kind of blurred lines between there, and people really don't get the full picture of what each one of these annuities are about and how they work.
Right.
And it does a disservice to the annuity, but it also does a disservice to the people, because these products are, I feel like, going to be the cornerstone and have been for hundreds of years, and they're going to go and prove to be even more important going forward into the future in protecting people's retirement, their pensions, their health care, disability situations, and then even as a legacy type product, passing this money on to family members that need to be looked after, maybe from a spouse situation, even children that may be disabled, to families that just need to be there. That money needs to be there for them to inherit on a ongoing basis as a legacy.
Correct. And like I had mentioned before, annuities they're constantly changing, and the only thing that I would suggest is that you work with somebody that understands. It doesn't have to be complicated. Let's put it that way. You never want to. I mean, you just need to find the best product for you to do what you want to do, whether it be long-term care, whether it be wealth transfer, whether it be accumulation, whether it be guaranteed income. Would I ever tell anybody to put all their money into an annuity product? I'd never do that. No, it's a cornerstone. It's one piece of the puzzle to your retirement income.
I agree. Well, I think too, you first, you educate, you give them an understanding of what this product can do, what it can't do, that it is a long-term, that it is not a short-term investment. And I think disclosure is the key when it comes to any financial product, but annuities in particular, because of the longevity and how it not only is affected currently, but in the future. And any closing remarks that you may have, or any advice that you want to give anyone from your perspective, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you, the best thing that my dad ever did was buy an annuity.
How about
that? And it helped him through tough times, and it was great. It was not part of his overall plan, but it did provide him some guaranteed income. And just like I mentioned earlier, don't forget about what an annuity really is. I mean, we go back to the old defined benefit plans or the Social Security. They're all annuities. And there's nothing bad about guaranteed retirement income. Think about your longevity. Most of us are living well into our 80s or 90s. Gosh, my parents are in their 80s now. My in-laws are in their 80s. So, I mean, that guaranteed income is important, very important for people. But you want to make sure you have those annuities in the right place. And that may not often be leaving your money in your qualified plan with your employer and having them select the annuity payout for you. I go back to what I think is very, very important: working with a competent advisor that will actually understand the annuity products that are out there, that are available, that will give you the features and benefits that you need. I have seen people in the past buy annuities and they don't need some of the features that are on those annuities, and they're paying fees for that. You
Yeah.
don't need to do that.
Yeah.
What you do need to do is find the annuity that fits your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And it's funny too, had clients in earlier today that we were talking in comparing your thought processes when you were in your 20s compared to when you were in your 30s, 40s, 50s. And when you get to your 70s and to your 80s, that thought process is really going to be about security. It's going to be about peace of mind. It's going to be about protection of your money, because you still, even at age 80, 75, you still have no idea how long you're going to live or how much money you're going to need. And any type of guarantee, any type of security in knowing that cash flow is going to be secure every month, no matter how long you live. I don't know that there's anything, that there's another alternative. Our friend Barry Kay, hey Barry, how are you? If you get to watch this, he uses the term TINA. There is no alternative. And there is no alternative to annuities as far as what they will do versus any other financial product that is out there in the marketplace. Even though it's old, they're somewhat boring, they're not flashy, they're not all over the news and as far as the thing to do, but it is a consistent conservative rate of return that protects your money and will always be there.
Yes, and it is very important as you age, because, you know, and we have to think about this as we get older. You know, things change.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to sit in front of your computer every day and try to manage your mutual fund accounts or what have you? And, you know, there is a diminishing capacity that we're all going to have.
That's
right. That's life.
That's right.
That is life. We'll all get older. You know, we're not going to be as spry as we are today. We're going to have diminishing mental capacity. I mean, it's a given.
Yeah.
So what is very, very important is that guaranteed income.
Yes.
Because that's the thing that's going to sustain you. It's not about, and I tell people this all the time, it's not about how much money you have. It's about how much money are you getting.
That's right.
And that is what's going to keep you. And so, you know, that's why I think annuities have a place in everybody's portfolio. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, whether it's fixed index, variable, SPIAs, or what have you. It's just, what is the best product that's going to fit for you, for what your needs are and your overall financial picture.
Yeah. I want to leave us here at the end here with there's an old saying that cash is king. I think going forward in today's environment with the volatility and the issues in the world like they are, I think cash is king has moved over, and I think cash flow is king. It is where we're at today. Maybe cash is moving into the queen position, but I think cash flow is king now, as far as what you can make your assets and what you can cause your assets to produce for you on a monthly basis or on an annual basis for as long as you can possibly make those assets do that. That's, to me, that's the key to a great retirement, is maximizing that cash flow. And I think that's what annuities, you know, will do for us.
Yes.
My name's Doug. I'm with Maximum Wealth. We come to you periodically to give you information that will hopefully help you. And if we can help you in any way, please visit our website at MaximumWealth.net. Like our YouTube page here. Mike, thank you very much for joining us today. Your information is so very valuable, and appreciate this opportunity. Thank you again for joining us and for viewing this video. Have a great day, Mike.
Yep, you too, Doug. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.